AI is getting pretty crazy these days, and while a lot of producers are worried about it replacing their production talent, I want to see if it can actually help producers sell beats online. So in today's video, we're going to see if we can have AI generate us beat sales. Essentially, there are three ways we can go about doing this. We could scour Twitter for artists giving out their emails and then have AI write a cold email script to try and pitch our beats to them. We could spend hours going through Instagram and finding rappers and then having AI write us a message to send to them to try and sell our beats to them. Or we could go with option number 3, which is probably what I do, and I'll explain it in just a second. All right, so if you somehow live under a rock, AI has been going absolutely insane. And while a lot of producers are worried about it replacing them, I'm honestly excited to see if it could help producers sell beats online. Now, if you really haven't used these AI tools yet, let me show you how insane this is. Give me a 5-step guide to sell beats online, and just watch this. So boom, start by creating a website, or you could use BeatStars or Airbit. Create high quality beats. Use social media to promote your beats and drive traffic to your website. Leasing rights, exclusive ownership rights. Like, this stuff is so smart. So here's how we're gonna use it in today's video. We're gonna have AI create an email that we're gonna send out to both Rujay and Matthew May's email list to try and sell beats. Now, we're not just gonna have this create some boring generic email either. So essentially, we have a survey that we just started running for Matthew May that his customers fill out after purchasing beats. And you can see the one question here is, why do you purchase beats and why do you make music? Which are two important questions. So I'm gonna ask the AI if it can summarize these customer feedback surveys to the question, why do you buy beats? And dude, just look at this thing go. This is insane. And if you guys just pause the screen and read this, it is literally insane what it's able to do. So now we're gonna ask the AI if it can use those survey responses and write an email newsletter to send to these artists to tell them about the new beats that were uploaded onto the Beat Store this week. Okay, so the email that the AI wrote is a little too formal for me, so I'm gonna ask it if it could be a little bit more casual. All right, so I'm probably still gonna change some things about the email, but literally this is a great starting point to begin with. And I actually forgot one thing, we're gonna need a subject line for this email as well. I like the unleash your creativity and the whole next hit, so I think we're gonna play off those and we'll write something tomorrow, just kind of using those for inspiration. So I'll see you guys then. Okay, so it is the next day and we're looking at this email with some fresh eyes, and there's definitely some changes that we need to make here. With the first sentence, I don't like this because it's like, hey, how are you? I have new beats, check them out. So we're just gonna do a little bit of rewriting here and then I'll show you guys. Okay, so I changed the beginning up and let's just kind of like break this down. So it says, hey Name, I hope you're doing well. With the holidays coming up, I've been super busy, but I can always make time for music. And during these holiday times, I always remember to be grateful for everything I have. And now we're also just gonna make some changes here to make it more personal, of like a one-on-one email. Change this as I know. So let's put as I know. This week, I've uploaded a handful of new beats that I believe would be perfect for you. Now, this is Matt's email, so let's go ahead, get into Matt's account, and we'll send this out. Oh, bro, we got two-factored. That sucks. All right, let me text Matt. Yo, man, you up? This is the most sus text I've ever sent. So while I wait for Matt to get back to me, we're gonna write Rujay's email. So now all we need to do is copy and paste this bad boy into this bad boy. Also, pro tip here, when you're sending an email, never send it as a wall of text like this. This is so hard to read and nobody's gonna wanna read it. So I'm gonna format this really quickly and then I'll get back to you guys. So here's what the email looks like after bolding some words, underlining a word here. Let me just make sure I underline the right thing there. Boop. And then adding some emojis. Looks a little bit better, easier to read. It's still a little bit of text. Usually the emails would be like half the size of this, but it's the AI email. We're gonna rock with it. All right, so I'll be back tomorrow to see if we saw any sales come directly with Soundy's tracking for Rujay. And then we'll also take a look at Matt's analytics and see if we can see any big spike of sales or whatnot. Sadly, not everything can be perfectly tracked with Matt with using Airbit because there's no active campaign integration e-commerce feature, which sucks. But if there's a huge spike in sales, we can say it probably worked. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. So it is the next day, and before we get into the results, I have to make something clear to you guys. These weekly one-off campaigns, the goal of them is not to drive sales, and let me explain. So these weekly one-off campaigns, they serve two major purposes. One, we want to keep on remaining relevant to the artists on your email list. And two, we want to drive them back to the Beat Store. And if you're wondering why we're not going for the sale, it's because when we actually do run the sales campaigns, where we are actively pushing a discount or a coupon code, which must I say, that's a ton of emails in a short time span. You never send out these weekly campaigns. One, a lot of artists on your list are gonna be like, who the hell is this dude? I don't even remember this guy. But if you send out emails weekly to them, you remain relevant to them. So when you send the sales campaign, you're not a complete stranger. And really a large point for this video is so many producers tell me, Ryan, I suck at writing emails. I don't know how to do it. Dude, AI can write you a pretty decent email right now that you can just change around and you can have a weekly campaign just like that. So there is no more room for excuses to not be doing this. So now I'll kick it over to future Ryan for some other results and metrics from these campaigns. Okay, so it's been a few days, but we are back. Now, the first two metrics that matter the most are what % of people open the email and what % of people clicked the email. To give you guys some insight here, it says the average email open rate is about 21% according to MailChimp. And then it says the average click-through rate is about 2.6%. So if we go into Rujay's report here, we can see we had a 31% open rate, so that was good, but only a 0.73 click-through rate, so the AI email didn't do too good there. Now, if you look at Matt's non-customers, he had a 34% open rate and about a 1% click-through rate, so that one did decent. Then if we look at Matt's customers, it had a 36% open rate and a 1.5% click-through rate, so this one had the best out of all three of them. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, did this actually lead to any beat sales then? Now, remember this too, the point of this email is simply, it's just a weekly engagement email. We're not pushing a sale or a discount or anything like that. And if you're like, oh, Ryan, this is just an excuse, email doesn't work, go to our Twitter and read the thread about how we made a combined 10 grand for 2 producers in 12 days with a Black Friday sales campaign through organic YouTube and email marketing. So now if we go to Matt's analytics, the email was sent on the 14th. Now in the past 5 days, Matt has had 1.3K in revenue. Can we say that the email generated any of that? Sadly, we can't, because you can't track that stuff. So now we're gonna hop on over to Rujay, where we actually can track stuff, and we're gonna see, one, did any abandoned carts come from this email, and then did any purchases come from this email? So with Rujay, we actually had 2 abandoned carts. As we can see, the campaign name here is AI email campaign. This one was for $100. And then we had another one here, AI email campaign, for $100 as well. Obviously, these are not sales, so we can't be too excited about them, but it's good we could track it. So let's see, were there any sales? All right, so after looking at these transactions, AI has been unsuccessful. And also, if you're wondering about how Soundy can actually track all this stuff, they recently did a huge update, and you can learn more about watching that in this video here. I highly recommend you check it out. Peace out, and maybe AI can help one day, but doesn't look like it right now.